All right, lads and lasses, welcome along. Time for another Tuppence Tuesday, innit? Now, one of the things I'm doing at the minute is I'm preparing some video courses. Going to be available on both Geordie Intelligence, which of course, as you know, is aimed at people. So, you, me, Jeff, Steve, anyone else actually getting you up to speed, learning Power BI, maximizing what you can do with it, helping you develop your career, right? And we're also going to be offering it through Geordie Consultant, which is geared up around businesses. So how can we actually embed those processes and those mindsets into a business? How can we help you establish that Power BI community within your company so that you become more of a data culture, more data driven, all about actually what's going on rather than what we reckon's going on. Yeah. So it's going to be really useful for everyone. Some great things in there. And I thought I'd give you a little bit of a sneak peek today at some of the stuff that's going to be in there. And hopefully you'll be thinking, oh, I can't wait for that to come out. Then we can start really getting into Power BI. That's my hope anyway. What we're looking at focusing on in the intermediate course is Power Query. So getting M really embedded in your mindsets, understanding what's going on with them. What's happening when I do this? Why is that happening? Is there anything I can avoid doing? Really important things. Tips, tricks, the works with them. We're also going to cover some DAX. So actually the basics of DAX with some basic measures. We'll start to get into calculate and of course some of the X functions. Right? Between them two and overlaying there and gluing that together, we're going to cover some pieces around actually ETL process. So your extract, transform and load. That's what goes on in Power Query. Right? As well as Power BI, how you first launch Power BI and then how you expand your Power BI estate and really start to benefit from it as a business. So we'll cover all that in what's going to be quite a short course, really. It's not massive, it's not lengthy, but I think it's going to be something that's really good for you, right? Intending it to be like for the consultant side delivery, kind of better mindset in it, is a 2-day course. So probably right now we're going to be doing it over 4 half-day sessions. So I think that makes a lot of sense for people. I mean, 4 half-day sessions can be really good, and you can actually really get through an awful lot in that. Probably more than you could get through if you did 2 half-days, 2 full-day sessions. It's up to you as we get back more normal post this COVID world. Who knows where we're going to end up? But this is going to be probably quite a major course that a lot of people are going to be keen to deal with. Geordie Intelligence side, don't you worry. It'll be on the channel. It'll be free, certainly initially. I'm looking at what we can do with YouTube membership. So I might set up a YouTube membership settings. So my kids need shoes. What can I say, right? And we'll start doing stuff that way. The other thing we might do is make it available, do some like live streaming events where we'll cover it, or webinars, whichever you want to call it, probably on YouTube. It's close to a live stream, but actually text some people through the course, what goes on that way. Give us a note, down below, like, subscribe, tell us what you think. Would you like to see it as a webinar? Would that work for you? Yeah. Anyway, tell you what, let's go to my face. Let's crack on into the videos. All the best, So in Power BI, as you all know, you've got your lovely blank screen that you start at, right? Really confuses everyone. No one really gets where they're going with it when they first get to it. What we're going to do is we're going to cover going to get data, using the more options. And the big piece that a lot of people don't realize is you can point Power BI at a folder. Now, there's a lot of times you'll have extracts from systems, especially when you're first starting out in Power BI, and you'll get like a daily file or a monthly file or something like that, right? And they're all getting put in a folder. If you connect Power BI to a folder, you can read them files in. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect a folder, hit connect, need to tell it which folder. So I'm going to pick my Geordie Intelligence, and it's my training preparation folder. And you'll see, once we get past the screen I hate, remember, always transform the data. And what you'll see is we'll get to the nice content of that folder. And we're going to go in the example and we're going to filter it down to XML because it's just the XML files that we're interested in for this, right? But you could do all sorts. I've seen people use extensions, use where the file name begins with. using and the data access to get the latest version of a file, right? We've done it all in the past. It's a really useful way, and the mechanism carries on regardless of how you filter down to the file or files that you need, right? Then we're going to combine them. So what that's going to do is it's going to say, Power BI, write me a function that's going to take one file and do effectively a for each loop for it. Yeah, for each file, do this. So hit that button. Power BI has a think about it, recognizes it's XML, right? And then it's going to build a function set for it. You can do this manually, and honestly, I've written them in the past, right, where this hasn't worked for whatever reason, but it's entirely up to you. The nice thing is this will work for a lot of the times for you. So think about it. It's a great way to go. All we need to do is expand this. We're going to, for the sake of this, we're going to pick this establishment details from the XML schema and click OK. And all of a sudden, we've now got 4 files combined together into a single table. And that started from a folder, right? And that's one of them non-intuitive pieces that Power BI does. Now, my advice, when you do a major transformation like this, is to think, right, we're going to build this baseline. This is going to become our foundation, right? So the first thing to do is validate. Does this work? So to do that, close and apply. So we're going to hit close and apply. It's going to apply them changes to it, and it's going to find out if there's any errors, right? Now, of course, I know there's going to be a load of errors in this. So, oh no, I've got some errors. What do I need to do in the event that we get errors? Hit view errors. It's not difficult. It's not rocket science. View them errors, and it'll bring back into the Power BI model, the Power BI query editor, take you back to there, and it'll actually show you what the errors were. Okay. So we've got here, we can see they're in this column. If we scroll along, we can see there's no reds at the top. All right. See the top bit there? We've got the errors here, and we've also got it handily telling us there's errors. Easiest way to find out what the error is, if you click on the cell, not on the actual word error, but on the cell, yeah, it tells you at the bottom what the problem was with that cell. So in this case, it's a data format error. Couldn't convert it to a number. Yeah. If we pick another one, data format error. Couldn't convert it to a number, right? So that's a real common issue, especially when you're doing big numbers of files coming through. It's looked at the first one, it's had one file format. The next file or a file further down the line doesn't have the same format for that column, okay? Happens a lot. It's not an issue, but it's one that you have to solve properly. So if we go back to our training preparation, this is the folder name, isn't it? Easy to just look at this and say, all right, all I have to do is to hit here and change this to text, right? And we can do that. The thing to remember to do with these is to replace current. Because if you don't replace the current and you add it as a new step, it's going to have to transform it first, which of course is where the error is. So it'll still error. By replacing the current, what we've done is we've changed here from it being int64 type to it being type text, right? And you could have just gone in and typed that in manually yourself. And as you get more familiar with the M script side, that's what you'll do. So oftentimes that's the sort of thing I just go through, update them there and then, easier. Although, as you can see, it's easy enough to do it the old-fashioned way or the quick and dirty way with the tools that are available to you, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply this just so you can, just to prove to you that it loads, right? So I've applied this. It's now going to go through and it says, yeah, that's worked. No errors with it. So I can now right click here on the errors group. I'm going to delete that group. So I don't need that group anymore. And I've now got my training preparation. And now I said, let's make this a foundation, didn't I? So what you do when you want to make something a foundation is you untick enable load, right? So this is going to stop it at this point from going any further. And the next thing, because we do want to carry on working with this, is we're going to reference it. So we've now chosen to reference that table And this is going to be, well, food ratings. It's hygiene ratings, isn't it? But I'll put food ratings. Okay. So that's basically how you begin your data set. Yeah. It's not too difficult. It's not too challenging. Going on from this, and as part of the course that we'll carry on with, we'll start to talk about the rest of these transformations, looking at the breadth of the data set. So these column sets are big. Of course, Power BI is compression based. So having wider data sets causes you problems in terms of your data compression ratios. The size of this, you're not going to see much of a difference. But the capability that we're building with this data structure that we're going to build is actually really significant. So the website that we're using is food hygiene across the UK. So in theory, you could actually download XML files from every region in the UK, put them all in one folder, point Power BI to it, and have that all produce something nice and pretty for you. Now, depends on how you want to do it. In the course, we're going to go through and we're going to build maps. We're going to use some KPIs. We're going to actually start to look and correlate it with postcode information because, of course, we've got postcodes. And then from postcodes, you get other things. So you actually start to get electoral ward information in there. So is there a difference in food hygiene rating across electoral wards? And that's where you start to get into that next stage. Where's the continual service improvement that you could do, or the continual improvement of your reporting model? Because this could take you a lot further. In the UK, you might start saying, well, is there a difference across electoral boundaries? So if a council or even a ward is a particular political party, do they seem to show difference? Is there a correlation? And that's where we can also start to get into some of the dangers around Power BI. That is it political or is it socio-economic? Is it something that, is your report only partly telling the truth? So I know I've had a look at this, right? This data set that we've got, I actually really loved it. It actually turned out a lot nicer than I was expecting it to do. So it's pulled in the four main areas of around Newcastle. So we've got Newcastle, we've got North Tyneside, we've got Gateshead, and we've got South Tyneside. So we've pulled all them in, and we can start to look and see, which restaurant should I go to today? Which pub? Which bar? Anything like that, I don't just go to pubs and bars, obviously, I do go to places. But it's a really useful way of starting that journey. Let's pull the stuff together. Let's bring in our postcode information, reward information. Where else can we go? And from there, you'll start to really appreciate, I hope, how much Power BI can really leverage and improve your business. So anyway, that's it for the quick sneak peek. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, like and subscribe down below. And of course, drop us a line, send us emails, go to the websites, interact with us. The more you interact, the easier it is for me to understand what it is my customer base wants and how we can make things better for all of you. So take care, right? Stay safe, everyone. Cheers.